Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Westrospective, where we bring Game of Thrones, the old seasons and the new. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And today's episode is Season 2, Episode 5, The Ghost of Harrenhal. Another
Fucking
badass
metal name.
Of course. All the Game of Thrones episodes could be Iron Maiden albums, basically.
Pretty much.
And what we do in this show is this is a revisit of the original Game of Thrones seasons leading up to the current ones, knowing what we know now. So we will be talking spoilers in the current season. Please be caught up before you check us out. And with that, let's go ahead and get started, Ron. The episode begins with Ridley on borrowed time.
Spoilers, Jeff. God.
Oh, I know. Renly is with Kat and Brienne, and Vagina Shadow Creature arrives.
I always forget to look at the face of the creature because there's so much happening and it shows it so little. That this time I made it a point to look at that because
Same.
I always forget when they say it looked like Stannis. I'm like, damn it, I forgot to look. So I God forbid I find a way to rewind the DVD. So yeah, this time I made a point to stare at it, and I had to stare at it pretty hard, but I could see it.
You can see it. It's subtle, but you can see it.
Like, you can see how Brienne thought it looked like Stannis, and you can see how Kat thought it looked like someone. Like, it's perfectly in the middle there. They did a really good job on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if they weren't telling you what to see, you might not be able to see it, but once you are directed towards observing it a certain way, you can see that it's Stannis. But
yeah.
I thought the special effect was actually pretty cleverly done. Yeah, and then, of course, this is the beginning of Brienne always being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Because she's been there for like a week and a half. She finally gets to be, Kingsguard to like the guy she's obsessed with, and then now she's blamed for his fucking murder.
Yep. Happens to everyone.
Poor Brienne.
Those two bastards did not stand a chance when they charged her.
Right.
One of them got it right down his spine.
Yeah, they made it a point to do that quite a few times over this last few episodes. It's like someone has a freaking boner for killing people that way.
For
Because that guy
people.
got it. That guy got it that way. Our boy, we always forget his name, Yoren.
Yeah.
He got it that way. Yeah. Like, Jesus, guys, give us a break. Yeah, Brienne is about to basically get herself killed, and then it's Kat who talks sense into her. You can't avenge him if you're dead, so they kind of run off away from the camp, and it creates a shitstorm within the campgrounds. And then the next, did you have anything else with the opening scene?
What do you consider the opening scene? Because there was a thing with Loras and Marjorie that...
Yeah, I was going to get to that one. Just the actual assassination.
Okay, no, that's all I've got.
The next scene they go to is with Littlefinger, Marjorie, and Loras with Renly's corpse after they've discovered him. And it's kind of interesting, too, especially with the conversation she has with Littlefinger. But Marjorie could not care less.
Yeah.
Because it's funny... She's married to him, but Loras is devastated.
Yeah.
Because they had the relationship, and Marjorie, she just has this look on her face like it's a regular Monday morning.
To be honest, Littlefinger looks more broken up about it than she does.
And then it just goes to show you, then she has that conversation with Littlefinger. She's like, I don't want to be a queen, I want to be the queen.
The queen, yeah.
She's very ambitious, and that's all she cares about.
Yep, pretty much.
Renly was just a ticket punched, and it didn't work out. That's all that matters, really.
He had a claim to the throne, not the claim to the throne, because Stannis is older than him. But he had 100,000 strong and soldiers and everything else. I mean, that's the guy you would want to marry if you're Marjorie. And now he's gone. And Stannis is already married. So, But
I find it kind of shitty about how it shows you kind of how fickle the Baratheon army is, in that they all go to Stannis' army.
yeah.
Like, I think they actually make it a point how he ends up getting basically all of them. Like, you'd like to see them show a little bit more loyalty than immediately jumping ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're loyal to a household family name, which name do you rally to? Of the two, there's only one now. So now he's calling on them.
It's just, I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I would assume that there'd be some deserters, but, you know, they didn't really talk about it. The note that I put down that I thought was interesting, because like you said, Brienne's been there like about a week and a half probably. Shit, as far as we know, it's like her third day on the job. And this happens, and even Loras was like, "Oh, you don't believe that Brienne killed her? We all know who did." And so I'm just like, huh. I don't remember them being fully aware that it was Stannis, because they make a point of saying Stannis did it somehow. I don't remember them being fully aware of that quick.
Yeah, and then Littlefinger and Loras are the first people to make the, out of the entire world, the person who benefits the most from his assassination is Stannis. And I believe it was Marjorie. She was under the thought that with everyone else, for the most part, that it was Brienne, but it made no sense because like Loras had firsthand experience fighting Brienne. It's like she was obviously obsessed with him, so it didn't really add up.
But yeah, that was the note that I had down, because that one kind of made me double take a little bit, because I didn't remember it being in the same episode. Everybody figured that out, let alone the same 5 minutes. But
where is? Oh, that's right. I was trying to remember when they eventually do the Blackwater Bay, where Loras is, but Loras is actually with part of the group that rescues King's Landing, right? Doesn't he come in with Tywin? How it was
yes.
Tywin that had made the allegiance with the Tyrells to kind of save King's Landing?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes, it's kind of crappy. Like, Loras never ends up getting to... Brienne ends up getting vengeance, but Loras never even really got to see... I don't even think he ever even has a scene with Stannis, does he?
No, I don't think he ever sees him again.
Yeah. I've actually kind of found Loras be a much cooler character.
I have too, actually.
He's not in it very much, but...
I used to not give, two shits about him, but...
He's kind of... it's one of those things where... maybe this is it. When you know certain characters don't have as much of a presence throughout the seasons, maybe those are the ones you pay more attention to, because you know you have to pay attention now while they're still a part of the show.
Right.
Because I've picked up on that too. I've actually found him more interesting as a character.
I did find this funny though. When Netflix was putting together Iron Fist, and they're like, "What's his thing? Revenge? Okay, what actors do we know that are on a revenge streak? The guy that plays Loras on Game of Thrones. He wants revenge." Because the first thing that popped into my head when they were talking about how he wants revenge was, I was like, Iron Fist wants revenge? What?
I'm so ready for Iron Fist. I need it. I need it.
And we used to say, fuck Iron Fist to give us Punisher. Then we saw that trailer.
Iron Fist. I said, Iron Fist is going to be cool, but I want Punisher. Now I want both.
Well, I remember saying, fuck Iron Fist, give me Punisher. And then we saw that trailer, and it's like, where's my Iron Fist? Give it to me now.
All right. Let's see. The next scene they go to is one between Cersei and Tyrion.
Yes.
And let's see. What is the foundation for what they're talking about? Are they talking about the assassination?
Yes, they're talking about the assassination. Cersei sees it as a good thing. Tyrion mentions that he and Varys don't believe so because Renly's men are flocking to Stannis. So Stannis now has the men and a more legitimate claim to the throne.
And more combat background. Renly had no history of really doing anything.
Right. And Stannis is something of a conqueror. So it's a much bigger issue, and all Cersei can see is just what's right in front of her, and it's, oh good, that's one more Baratheon down. But really, they were better off with them split, because Renly doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and Stannis has no army. So they could take them one at a time. More or less, it's like fighting them if they had combined forces or something at this point. So, yeah, Tyrion has a line that I wrote down, though, that I thought was pretty funny. When he makes the joke that Marcella is a sweet, innocent girl, and I don't blame her at all for you.
Yeah.
And she says, "You're so clever. Aren't you so clever with your schemes and your plots?" And he does, "Schemes and plots are the same thing."
I had written that one down, too. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like, in retrospect, if they had never gone after Tyrion within the family, Tyrion has actually been, like, on his A game as far as directing the city. And after he's gone, and then after he obviously takes out Tywin later, like, they're just a mess.
Yeah, no, Tyrion has basically found his calling in life here in King's Landing, being Hand of the King. And with the dickwad that the king is, he's basically the most powerful man around. So, I just find it funny that Joffrey, as fucked up as he is, and how he believes everyone should fear him and he can do whatever he wants, that he is so afraid of Tywin himself that he just kind of lets Tyrion get away with everything also. Because he lectured Joffrey at court, remember? Was it last episode or the episode before when he saved Sansa? And
Yeah.
Tyrion had that line that, I'm educating my nephew or whatever, and he just was right to his face. Down to him. It's just funny to me, Joffrey is so afraid of Tywin that he just takes all this shit from Tyrion.
Oh, man. It just makes me sad. That's like, I almost wish we could have gotten more of Tyrion as the Hand of the King, because it's really only this one season, and man, it's some good stuff in the second
I know.
season.
I am so looking forward to 209, dude.
Yes.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Let's see. The next scene is also one of my favorites of the season, where he's in the little tent thing with Lancel. The whole conversation could be quoted, but this is where he gets the information that Cersei and Joffrey are planning on using the wildfire.
Yes.
And then the quote that I wrote down was Lancel's just like, I swear. And then he says, "Swear to me on what? On my life. I don't care about your life."
I liked that, and I liked the. He's like, "It's not a lie. Why would I lie to you? Tell me, if the vile allegations against my brother and sister are true, do you think it will make Jaime more likely to kill you or less likely? When I tell him you're fucking her, I mean."
It's like, not only is the writing good, but man, he delivered every line to perfection.
I know. I feel so bad for Lancel. Tyrion's got his balls in a vice.
And then when he exits the tent, "Oh, Lancel, tell my friend Bronn here to please kill you should anything ever happen to me."
Yeah.
And then he repeats it, and then Bronn's just like, "It'll be my pleasure." Fucking gold. Did you have anything else to add with that scene?
No.
Other than
That
it's
scene is
fucking
just
awesome.
gold.
We transition to a scene between Davos and Stannis. And one of my notes that I had down is like, just when you think about the show as a whole throughout all the seasons, ambition is seriously like the worst thing you can have almost in Game of Thrones. Because when you think about it, everyone, I mean, even Khaleesi's gone through some hardships, but basically everyone but Khaleesi who has had ambition as far as trying to rise through ranks, as far as the people who are actually trying to be kings and queens. God, it just ends awfully for basically all of them.
Oh, God, I know. It really does. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just death after death after death, terrible atrocity after atrocity.
Because it's like Cersei is the queen, is the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, but she's at this point lost all of her children, so she's basically just like a hollow shell of her former self. Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I liked some of the conversation they had between Davos and Stannis, though, about how Davos is very open about, like, dude, I just saw some shit. What are we doing with that lady?
Yeah.
And then the quote that he says that I wrote down was, loyal service means telling hard truths. Because, like, if Stannis had just listened to him...
I know. That's what I keep thinking all season long. I'm like, you have him as your advisor, yet you don't take any of his advice, and all of it is sound.
This is when it's established that he's going to have Davos lead the Blackwater Bay invasion. And he has a funny reaction too, doesn't he? Say like, "I'm used to running away from boats, not going."
I'm used to evading ships, not leading them, or something like that.
Yeah, I like Davos. He's a cool character.
Yeah, no, I love Davos. I mean, anyone that wears their own knuckle bones around their neck, that has to be a cool character.
Let's see. Next up, we go to the scene with Tyrion and Bronn walking through like the city streets. I'm assuming you had the quotes ready for some of the conversation in this one.
Some of it, yeah. Let me see.
It's just really unfortunate because Tyrion is being blamed by basically all of the common folk for everything that's gone wrong. Even though he's the only person who has any idea what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, I know. Did you also notice that when he goes through the city streets like that, he's not wearing the Hand of the King?
I didn't notice that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't wear it when he goes out. And then, I'm assuming the line that you're wanting is a dancing king prancing down his blood-stained halls to the tune of a twisted demon monkey. And then Tyrion says, you have to admire his imagination. And Bronn goes, he's talking about you. And Tyrion's like, what? Demon monkey?
Yeah, that's actually something interesting, too. Like, a way that the books are different from the show is, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but in the books, Tyrion is legitimately deformed.
Oh, yeah?
And I actually kind of like it better the way it is in the show, about how he isn't deformed, he's just a dwarf, but everyone in the Westeros is so superficial, they treat him as if he's deformed nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah, I think it actually adds a little bit more intellectual sides to the characters.
But yeah, then Bronn says, people think you're pulling the king's strings, and they blame you for the city's ills. And he says, blame me? I'm trying to save them. And what I liked about Bronn when he just walks away after saying, well, you don't need to convince me. And then he's like, demon monkey. Yeah, I just loved his initial reaction to that, though.
I like the very first lines of dialogue they have in that scene, too. I'm paraphrasing it, but he walks in and Tyrion says something along the lines of, no, Bronn says, like, you still have your wit or whatever. And he's like, unfortunately, I've never been able to kill anyone with it. And he's like, good thing I'll be out of a job.
Yeah. Well, I've never actually been able to kill people with it. And then I love the, what about your father? He hasn't sent a raven in weeks. He's very busy. Being repeatedly humiliated by Robb Stark is time consuming. Everything that Tyrion says all season long is quotable, dude.
It really is.
Even down to demon monkey.
Demon monkey. The next scene, it's everybody's favorite character, Theon. Non-biggest douchebag in the universe, Theon.
Oh my god, dude. Now that I fully comprehend what is happening in this show, I didn't remember him being such a dick the entire time, which is ironic when you think about it, considering what happens to him.
Theon is the biggest dick in Game of Thrones. The look on his face when he sees that he has that one ship, you just want to slap the ever-loving shit out of him. It's like, dude, you have fucked over the people who have been your family for pretty much your whole life, as far as you can remember. Your real family, who you're with now, fucking abandoned you and have been treated you like nothing but shit since you've returned. And he had just like this glum look on his face, like he's so fucking proud of himself.
Yeah,
So detestable.
I know. Basically, his character is almost akin to Tyrion a little bit, where there's no place in the world for him. And instead of carving out his own path the way Tyrion has, he tried to be loved by the Starks and couldn't, so now he's trying to be loved by his family, and we know where that's going to get him. Instead of just trying to, carve out his own place in the world. That was all he had to do. He had enough title and, renown to do that. It's not like he's a fisherman. I mean, he was a Greyjoy, and everyone in the North knows who he is because he serves the Starks. He could have had his own title, his own keep probably eventually, and everything.
Yeah, it's like the whole ambition thing. It's like most of the characters in the show go about their ambition the complete wrong way.
I'm beginning to sense, we talk about how there's a theme for every episode and like every season and stuff. I'm beginning to feel like that the ambition thing is the theme for the season.
For all the characters.
Yeah.
And then, not to get ahead of it, but the Khaleesi ambitions really start showing in this episode too. Like
Yes.
she starts openly talking about it. I do like in that Theon scene though how Yara comes up and just still trolls the hell out of him, and then his fucking crew ends up rowing like without him to the ship.
Yeah. And then the one thing that made me laugh out loud when I was sitting there with my wife was I've been reaving and raping since before you left Balon's balls, Captain. Like, that's his crew. Oh, that's what they think of him.
Oh, Theon. And then this is when Master Douchebag himself comes up with the plans. I'm gonna go fuck them over even more by capturing fucking Winterfell.
Ugh.
Oh, Theon.
Theon.
But goddamn, are they good at writing? Because in the new seasons, when he has his return to form, and then it's like that scene when he redeems himself by saving Sansa from Crazy Bitch. I forget her fucking name.
Yeah, Crazy Bitch will do.
You go from this point in history to rooting for Theon again.
Dude, that crunch after he shoves her off and she hits the ground still haunts my memories.
Yeah. It's just that and everything with the mountain is just terrifying. Let's see. The next scene we go to is Tywin back at Harrenhal, where Arya is still his handmaiden. And I like how Tywin again has the conversation with one of his. I don't know which of the Lannisters it is, but he basically banishes him, and he tells him, like if you weren't a Lannister, you'd be scrubbing the pots and everything.
Right.
It's like Tywin. Even if you're a Lannister, he'll still tell you to get the fuck out. He just won't renounce your title.
Is it Reginald?
I don't even know if they ever say his name.
I perhaps would profit from some sleep, as I think you would, Reginald. And because you're my cousin, I might even let you wake from that sleep.
Yes, yeah.
So Reginald Lannister.
Reginald Lannister. It's not quite as lame as Kevin, so you got a slightly better name.
But he's got a cool spelling.
Is it? Let me guess. It has a Y.
I think it's. Is it Owen? I wanted to say.
Every fucking name in Game of Thrones almost has to have a Y.
No, A-N. Kevan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Reginald having a different spelled name, but yeah, he's still fucking Kevin.
Kevon.
Man, you want to talk about them picking good kid actors, though? That scene where Tywin stares down with Arya?
Yeah.
That was some intense shit. Like, Charles Dance has been acting for how many years?
I was gonna say he's intimidating in real life. He's not like imposing like Tywin is, but I would imagine it would be intimidating just to be in the same limelight as him.
And
You
Macy
know,
Williams
because I mean, he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but the acting chops that he has.
Yeah.
I mean, award-winning actor, stage, movie, TV, everything, you name it. He's been around forever. So yeah, I wouldn't even feel worthy enough to be in the same room with him, let alone share a scene with him.
Yeah, the Macy Williams had been acting for a season and a half, period.
Basically.
And she stares his ass down, and she's pretty. Like, man, they knocked it out of the park with her.
Yeah, Macy Williams like commands the scenes that she's in, and as does Charles Dance.
Yeah,
Fucking love
like
Charles Dance, man.
And me too. And then her line before the stare down: "Anyone can be killed."
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, the cojones on this girl, man. She's freaking badass.
And Tywin basically kind of got that message because then he kind of ends the conversation and tells her to fetch the water.
Yeah. And then as she leaves, she bumps into Jaqen.
Which I knew you loved.
I fucking love me some Jaqen, dude.
A man pays his debts. A man owes 3.
So good. Next up, we go to the Night's Watch. They are meeting up with the Half Hand, who is a character I completely fucking forgot existed. This is a dude who ends up getting captured with Snow, right?
I believe so.
And then because maybe remember it is, doesn't he sacrifice himself in order to get Snow in position to be able to do anything? Because Snow ends up killing him, right?
I think so.
Because I believe they're tied up together. And then this is the guy, the half-hand guy, who, you know, in order for you to not immediately get killed, they have to believe you're for real. So he kind of has him kill him.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is him.
I completely fucking forgot about that guy.
Yeah, I remembered him as soon as I saw him. I had no memory of him until then. He had some good dialogue at that point. Let me see if I can.
Good dialogue in Game of Thrones. I believe it when I see it.
I love the. See, it's right in here. I'm looking at a transcript of the episode. Did we skip a scene? Tywin Island? No.
Don't believe so.
Oh. I don't think Half Hand was here yet.
Oh, this is just when they see his party approaching.
Yeah, this is when they see his party approaching,
so
because
he has dialogue when they come back to him.
Yeah, because right here is when he says, what was the exact quote?
This is when they're talking about like the 3 horns or whatever means White Walkers and stuff like that. They're talking about the Night's Watch signals.
Yeah, and then he, the one dude that I can never remember his name, that's the current Lord Commander, says, "Before I die, please stop talking."
I love him.
Yeah, that's what he says to Sam when he's talking about the area they're setting up camp in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Half Hand is later. Okay.
Let's see. Got to start speeding it along. We've been spending too much time on the first half of the episode. Next scene is the Tyrion scene where he gets to see the wildfire.
Yes.
He's talking with the pyromancer dude. Then this is again, obviously it's Tyrion, so we could have quoted the whole thing, but I like the end cap of it. You won't be making wildfire for my sister any longer. You'll be making it for me.
As I said, Bronn was pretty good in this also. The thing that kind of blows your mind, though, was when the camera switches around behind Tyrion and you see how big the storeroom is. And it says our present count stands at 7,811 jars of wildfire. And then Bronn says, "This is a shit idea." Yeah.
Doesn't he say like I tend to agree with my?
I'm afraid I have to concur with my advisor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it says the contents of this room could lay King's Landing low. You won't be making wildfire for my sister any longer. You'll be making it for me.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for Blackwater Bay. Such a badass freaking episode.
There was one line I just thought about. My lord, this man is insulting, is what the pyromancer says about Braun.
All right. From there we go to Khaleesi and Charmander. He's not Charizard yet.
Not yet.
He is Charmander. He is still sociable and listens to commands.
Remember the episode when Khaleesi had to shelter the flame on his tail as she ran through the rain to the Pokemon Center?
Oh, I'd forgot about that, but yeah.
That was a tearjerker.
This is the Khaleesi scene where they end up going to kind of like the little party thing they go to. I really like the Dothraki stealing the gold. Like he walks by, he like grabs a drink off the platter and like throws the contents out, and then is gonna steal it for the gold.
Yeah, no, this whole scene, I really liked. Let's see. So we had the dress. Somewhere in here, I meant to highlight it and I didn't. But they were arguing over the statue. Khaleesi sees them right after Marine gets dropped for the first time for us. She runs over to Jorah and is like, what's going on here? And he's like, well, he says the statue's too heavy to carry, and he says that he's an idiot because once you pop the diamonds out, it's pure gold, you can just slice it and carry it away in pieces. And she's just like horrified because she's like, these people are our hosts, you want to steal from them? And they're like, no, we wait until we leave.
I love the Dothraki, they're amazing.
Yeah, and then this is the last time we see Khaleesi, right? So this snippet with Khaleesi ends with Jorah letting out a little bit more than he bargained for when he was talking to her, right? Because someone's already...
Well, this is the thing at the party. They do towards the end of the episode go back to Khaleesi though, because she has a conversation with Jorah.
In my notes, I don't have any other time that we come back, so I must not have written it down.
It's towards the end of the episode where he kind of has the conversation with her about who can rule and who should rule. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's towards the end.
That's towards the end. Okay. Yeah, I don't have that in my
right
notes
here.
then.
This is the scene where you get more introduced to the Warlock. The Warlock pops up and shows there's even more than 13 assholes. Pyat Pree is his name, which I had never caught before. I think I happened to be watching it with subtitles on. Have you to try to pick up on people's names? I've actually been rewinding certain scenes to put on subtitles just to pick up on names. Because like otherwise, I just would have forever called him the Warlock. I'm actually curious about catching their names.
Warlock sounds a hell of a lot better than Pyat Pree.
Pyat Pree. Now here's the question: they have the scene with the girl in the mask.
Yes.
And Jorah. Do we figure out later on who the girl in the mask is? I can't remember.
I can't remember for the life of me. I didn't even remember she existed until she popped up Assassin's Creed style.
Interesting, though, one of the ththings she says is, I am no one. And that kind of caught my attention.
That caught my attention, too.
Maybe she's a part of the house of the what are they? The House of Black and White, I think is what Jaqen's people are called. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Maybe that was one of those. I guess we'll start calling dropped Game of Thrones plot lines a Gendry's boat. Maybe that's a Gendry's boat.
She's on the boat with Gendry.
She's
and Arya's wolf.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't for the fucking life of me remember if they ever go back to this character, because I cannot remember.
Yeah,
probably obvious that I'm forgetting, but I cannot tell you right now. let's see. The next scene is with Kat and Brienne. This is where Brienne pledges to her allegiance to Kat. It's a pretty cool scene.
And that's the first time that you hear the allegiance thing, right? That the vow that, because later Sansa does it too. Is it Brienne also?
I think so. And then is it someone's with her and they're having to direct Sansa about how to accept the vow?
Right.
I can't remember who was with her though. Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, that's the first time we hear it is from Kat, I think. I think that's the first time we've heard it.
Yeah, there wasn't much. That was just a really quick scene. From there, we go back.
I was going to say, this scene gets us closer to Brienne and Jaime.
Yeah. I'm looking. I think that season 3 is where most of that takes
that's
place.
Probably another one that's going to be like Tyrion and Bronn traveling for me, because I swear to God, the first time I ever saw this season, that felt like it was half the season, if not the whole season. It was one episode. So it's probably what felt like all season long with Brienne and Jaime is probably going to be like 2 back-to-back episodes, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot longer than the Bronn and Tyrion thing, but yeah, it's probably not as long as we thought it was.
Yeah.
Looking back. Next up, my favorite character, Bran. We have to make sure we check in with him.
Oh, thank God. Rickon over there smashing walnuts.
Yeah, too bad he's better at smashing walnuts than serpentining. Yeah, this is another scene with Bran, Maester Luwin. They're kind of listening to all of the common people's problems and everything. And, of course, they get knowledge that the Bannermen have been attacked, and what does fucking Bran do but get more fucking people killed?
Now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
The farmer that they sent 2 orphan boys to help, is that the same farmer that they kill and burn the orphan boys in place of Bran and Rickon?
I hadn't thought about that, but you're probably right.
Because they spent a great deal of time with this farmer in scene, and there are camera shots that it's only the farmer in scene, and as they're talking, he's a farmer, his children are away fighting Robb Stark's war, he doesn't have enough help, and they say, we'll give you 2 orphan boys to help you as long as you can feed and clothe them and take care of them.
It makes sense because Theon is able to get the kids because they're actively searching outside of the realm of Winterfell.
Yeah.
He's searching the surrounding areas. I bet you're right. I bet that is the same. I hadn't thought about that, but I bet you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it was so hard when I'm sitting there watching that with my wife to keep from going, holy fucking shit, as soon as I had that realization.
But yeah, again, Bran, worst chosen one ever in history of everything.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure Bran has killed more people in the show than White Walkers have.
And he sends all of the troops away and later acknowledges that he had a dream about Theon taking over. He doesn't know that's what it was, but
yeah, let's bring that up. He has a vision that he's talking about with Osha. And the quote is, I believe it's the quote, but the sea came to Winterfell. He's talking about how he's seeing Winterfell basically taken over by water, which is very, very clever foreshadowing with the stuff with Theon because of the way that, his house is with them all being over at the Iron Islands, very water focused. It's a clever little piece of foreshadowing. I think I might have written it down as the sea was the allegory for Theon. But yeah, fuck Bran.
And Osha clearly knows more than she's letting on.
I'm actually really curious when I get around to reading the books how different Bran is, because for such an important character, damn, like they make him not likable in this series.
Yeah, it's almost like they go out of their way to do so.
Right? Especially in the later seasons, like his fucking boy, man, Hodor, he never even bats an eyelash after that happened.
Nope.
Like, what the actual fuck, man? He literally carried you on his back for 5 seasons.
Not to mention, he like wargs him several times. Like, that's just rude for someone you appreciate.
Personal space.
Yeah, seriously. He like wargs the fuck out of that guy.
All right. Did you have anything else to add with that scene?
Nope.
Next up, this is when we go back to the Night's Watch. This is when we actually see Half-Hand, whose actual name I wrote down was Corran. This is when Snow, offers to join him, and then Mormont makes him an official ranger. So yeah, I believe what we're talking about is correct, because Snow is leaving with the Half-Hand. I think when he's out on this mission is when they eventually get caught, and everyone else with them gets killed, but it's him and the Half-Hand left.
I believe so. I think you're right.
But we'll find out.
I forgot that scene even happened.
Oh, with Corran,
yeah,
the half-hand guy. Yeah, because Sam volunteers to take over all of his steward duties, so that he can leave and be a ranger.
I hope you're a better ranger than you are a steward.
Fucking love Mormont. The next scene we go to is this is what now. The end cap with Khaleesi is with Jorah, but this is when they go back to her and she has the scene with Zaro with the vault. About how he talks about how, no one else... He talks about how, like, I commissioned these people that if they could actually break in, they could have their weight in gold or whatever. No one ever could.
Yeah.
And then...
My notes completely skip over this, so I go straight to Arya and Gendry in mine.
Oh, really? This is when he has the scene where he proposes that they get married. He will fund her going to Westeros if he can be king with her queen. And we all know how that works out. So
right.
It was a pretty smart idea. It just literally blows up in his face later on when he ends up back in the fucking vault.
Yep, because he had to be banging the handmaiden.
Yep. And then with that scene, they go to Khaleesi and Jorah, and the quote that I wrote down, they're back and forth for a while, but it is completely true. I can totally agree with this quote too. Someone who can rule and should rule. Centuries come and go without a person like that coming into the world. Because no one else is actually worthy that wants the crown as much as she is. She is legitly worthy of the claim. Yes. And you just know in the last couple of seasons something horrible is going to happen. It's not going to work out that way. At what point does it become a spoiler in Game of Thrones that a good thing happened?
Right. Yeah.
I'm really fascinated to see how this show winds up, as far as we've gotten through basically the first 5 seasons. It's just dark shit happening to good people. There were some wins by good people in the newest season.
Every once in a while it happens, just not often.
But man, I'm curious to see.
I did like this line from Jorah. They'll give you ships and soldiers and they'll own you forever. Like, he's not wrong.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been screwed without Jorah.
As we find out later.
The friend zone, it burns us. It burns us so. She goes out of her way to say that they're friends, I think, like 35 times in this first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Jorah.
Poor Jorah.
No one gets friend zoned as hard as he did.
Nope. And then the last part of was that your last note with that?
That was my last. Well, I didn't have any notes on that, but I did have that quote. Yeah.
And then the last scene of the episode, my boy Jockin's back. Now I actually had noticed it till you texted me about it. I didn't notice that the fucking dude, the tickler, who's the torturer guy that she has called out as the first person to be killed. His fucking head is 180'd. I didn't actually catch that.
I was sitting there like, holy shit, I didn't remember that the first time. The only view that you have is not enough of his body to tell, but you have his hand down. So you would assume he's laying face down, but his head is face up. And I was just like, holy shit. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, me either. It's weird, like... They almost filmed it like you think that would be more pronounced the fact that he had fucking been 180'd like that, but it was very, very subdued the way that the special effect was done, which is odd because this ends up being the show that you're kind of known for just the worst deaths depicted.
Obviously, I don't know this for a fact, but I know for this episode, but I know what movies and TV shows do when there's a special effect or something in a scene they're not happy with. They hide it in editing. I wonder if there's something about that special effect they didn't like when they
Maybe
went back.
If you spent too much time looking at it, it looked cheap or something.
Yeah, so that
because when to your point, he's covered up by a person kneeling over him.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Maybe they were, and with it being maybe like the last scene of the episode, they ran out of budget by the end of it. Perhaps, yeah. There's no telling, but I think that's
the way, because it was odd, especially with the other special effects they have, and they go out of their way to show you the special effects. The way that they kind of covered him up, I almost felt like there was something about it they didn't like.
Yeah, but I think that's a really, really good possibility. I think that's a good call. But I love Jockin. He's such a psychopath, but he's my psychopath. And I think with that, was there anything else you want to touch up on in this episode?
No, I just love the one line from Gendry when Arya tells him to stand sideways because he's a smaller target, and he just looks around and he's like, "Am I fighting someone?"
Dude, Gendry too. Gendry has a lot of funny one-liners that I didn't remember in this show.
I didn't remember them either.
I really wish his fucking boat would turn up somewhere. God damn it. But yeah, I think that's going to be a wrap. We are at the halfway point of season 2, Ron.
Holy shit.
I can't wait. Blackwater Bay is going to be like a 15-minute review of us just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You remember that one part? Yes. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Remember when things exploded and there was green stuff everywhere?
And like a whole lot of people fucking died. It was metal as fuck.
Remember Blackwater Bay? I remember.
Remember Tyrion?
Remember Davos?
I need to get caught up on South Park. Actually, I think I am, but I'm going to watch them again just because it's fucking awesome.
Because why not?
Because why the fuck not? If you would like to check us out more, please like and subscribe. In addition to our Game of Thrones content, we also do a weekly news podcast as well as Let's Plays. Currently, we are playing Doom as our current sequential, but we're just trying to get back to it. We have social media links for Facebook and Twitter below in the description if you're curious about those. And then most importantly, please share us out to your friends if you know anyone else that might also like our content. Ron, would you like to... It looks like this is going to be our last episode before you guys are projected to have your munchkins. So would you like to say anything about that as far as what our scheduling is going to be like for a bit?
Probably going to be off for a couple of weeks at least, as everything's we're trying to figure out what the hell we're doing. It says, we don't have kids, and on the 20th we will have 2. So it's going to be interesting. So we'll probably have a few weeks off at least. Are we going to be doing Weekend Geek podcast this week?
Let's see. Because
we need to do that like Tuesday. Because Wednesday is all hospital prep because she goes in Thursday.
Oh, she goes in early for it? Yeah. Yeah, we can, if we have time, we'll do a news podcast. But if not, we'll just we'll be on our break. So this could be our last thing. But I'll keep the Twitter updated with any updates as far as I can find out. But we're going to be playing it by ear. Probably be off for a few weeks. But yeah, we will be back. We will be back to finish up West Respective.
We'll probably, if we're playing any video games in our downtime or anything, we could always post videos here and there to the channel. Yep. Yeah, we just figured we'd give you guys an update. But yeah, for this night and all the nights to come, I'm Jeff. I'm Ron, and now this watch has ended.